Welcome to Rapid Media TV, and I'm your host, Scott McGregor. I'm here at Pine Cove Lodge on the rocky shores of the French River with my 5-year-old daughter, Kate, and we're jumping on a Blackfeather family trip for 4 days of canoeing and camping and fishing and swimming and playing on this beautiful and historic Canadian Heritage River. But first, we need to go meet our guides, meet up with the group, get packed, and get on our way. You ready, Kate? All right.
Probably the best thing is if we have some adult volunteers to take the kids swimming, and I'm just saying right in here, we're not going to swim down, it's just too hard to come back up. So if we have a few people in, the rest of the adults can unload the canoes, at least get stuff to here, and then we can kind of start setting up from there. But
Getting kids outside and engaged in nature is more important now than ever before. Although, so I've learned, there are almost as many challenges as there are rewards. On this trip, for example, we have a barrel full of toys, like Camp Monkey here, and a small library of storybooks, and of course, Kate's emergency snack bin. Blackfeather runs a number of family trips throughout the summer, and from what their guides tell me, these trips operate quite a bit differently.
Blackfeather family trips are different in terms of the pace. What we want to do with the Blackfeather family trip is give the kids and often also the adults an opportunity to be in the outdoors. It may be new to them, and we would like to encourage the whole family experience in the outdoors. And it's a bit slower because we also want the camping aspect to be fairly big and not just the time on the water. So we want them to have time in their tents, get set up, and enjoy the outdoors on a site, as well as the whole sort of traveling on a river in a canoe or kayak.
A family trip, generally a group of 2 or 3 families. A lot of activity plans geared towards the kids. Also fun for parents also, but the focus mostly on kids. Generally, we would ask the parents what kind of activity the kids want to do, then we try to gear towards that. Much slower pace in terms of traveling, and the trip tend to be a little bit shorter than a regular trip, usually about the length of 3 to 4 days.
For my wife and me, getting our kids in canoes and outside is just part of our lives. It's what we do. But that's not the case for this group on the French River. We wanted to know why they chose this river trip over any other family vacation. So we asked them.
This is our first wilderness canoe trip as a family. Before we had kids, we did a trip in Vancouver, seeing whales and stuff, and we loved it, absolutely adored it. So it was something that we definitely always wanted to do once we had kids as well. We've got family who live out in Canada, and they've done this trip a couple of times with other members of the family, so we really wanted to do that, so we decided to do it on this trip.
Well, I've loved being on a trip with my kids. It was hard to know how it was going to be and how it was going to turn out. And there are certain things you're not sure about, how they're going to deal with a few bugs, with food, because it's not the controlled environment of home. But you know, they've been so distracted by the nature, by the wildlife, by the fun on the water, that really those things haven't been a problem at all.
Actually, if you work like me and if you're available 24/7, I think the best part is that I have no connection here outside, and I had to get organized in a way that the business could be taking care of other people. And that's an experience I haven't had for about 8 or 7 years, 7 or 8 years, if not more. And this I found probably the best part, because you can really then devote the time to be here and be with your children and just do what you actually just do, and not constantly have a look at your BlackBerry or iPhone or whatever.
Working with Blackfeather, we've got all kinds of trips, and it's kind of neat. They've got sort of hardcore people they want to do, I said the Noir, the Des Moines. Then you get other trips like here on the French is a family trip, and it's really neat because it's totally different. I get to, in some ways, sit back and enjoy it a lot more, spend more time with the kids, playing with the kids. You know, swimming is a big thing, jumping off rocks, cliff jumping even, just all kinds of neat kid-oriented stuff. I guess I can almost pretend I'm a kid then and go back to that stage as it was a long time ago.
In 20 years of canoeing, this has been my first guided trip, at least the first in which I hadn't been the guide. I liked it. Blackfeather takes care of the food, the route, and most of the gear. There are many advantages to a guided trip, and for many adventurers, it's the only way possible.
Well, the first time is because we didn't know what we were doing. My wife's Canadian, but she's done very little camping, so we figured that we would just go with people who knew what they were doing and just have the expertise and also the help in terms of cooking and clearing up and, you know, being able to have it a holiday rather than having to work too much for it, especially as we wouldn't know what we were doing.
Putting this together by ourselves would probably be too much trouble, coming from overseas, renting the canoe, all the camping gear, etc., I would definitely go with an outfitter. It's so much easier, and also, you know, you have to buy maps, you have to know, you know, and permits and all that stuff. So I think going with an outfitter, it's so much easier. Surely you know, there is a price tag to it, but I would definitely do it again.
Well, it's not too hard, and it's not like easy, and the swimming is really great. Whenever I come on these trips, I've made a lot of new people, and I love the water and Canoeroots.
Favorite part about doing canoe trips?
Oh, maybe it's the s'mores and the rapids. It's really fun.
Yeah, you like running the rapids?
Yep.
Okay, what about swimming?
Well, swimming in the rapids is the funnest part.
Yeah. And do you think you'll come back?
Yes, definitely. The one and the two rapids, the last one, when we come here, that was my favorite part.
We're leaving our last campsite here on the French River for a day paddle back to the real world. I'd like to thank Blackfeather and their guides, Pine Cove Lodge, and all the families for sharing their dream trip with us. This is Scott McGregor and my daughter Kate for Rapid Media TV, hoping you paddle forever. All right, Kate, are you ready? Let's go. Grab your paddle. Easy forward. See that lodge up there? That's where we're headed, up through the trees. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
I wanted to know, we wanted to know, didn't we?
He didn't even help you.
He didn't?
No, you were doing it all.
Were you doing all the paddling? And you don't know? That was great.